Good morning, YouTube. Today, I'm gonna finally review the Corvette C8.
So are you recording all of the nefarious activities?
If you're new to the channel, my name is Dan, this is my garage, and this channel is all about the supercar ownership experience, buying and selling them, maintaining them, DIY work on them, all that sort of stuff. Today, we're gonna be reviewing the C8, but in the meantime, any of you with a supercar, if you have any needs for, well, actually, maybe you don't even have one, you're looking to buy one, if you have a consultation question or anything like that, maybe you need some parts, go visit my website, normalguysupercar.com. Use the code NGS10, I'm knocking 10% off anything on the store, so go check that out. Today, as I said, we have this absolutely beautiful Corvette C8. America as hell. America! Yeah! Proper, in my opinion, Captain America. And a huge thanks to Mike for bringing this by. So this is Mike, and his YouTube channel is Brink of Speed. Go check it out. So obviously, he's gonna be doing a video as well. Go get his opinions as a Corvette owner taking on a 458, 458 owner taking on the Corvette. So, you know, doing the whole, whatever. Anyway.
Switcheroo thing.
Yeah. So he's gonna try my car, I'm gonna try his car. We got a big thing we gotta talk about first, which is the money. Captain America, this is the epitome of America, and frankly, in my opinion, if you're gonna have a C8, why not go full bore America? Because it is America's self-proclaimed sports car. I actually really dig it. I mean, this just, look at that. STG Wraps and Scott Solar Auto Spa did the wrap on this, and it looks really good. They did an amazing job. The lines are lined up perfectly. Everything just looks probably the little gas cap. That's so awesome. Now here's the thing: the Corvette, obviously, everyone wants to talk about. It's so cheap. It starts at $60,000 and it could beat supercars. Okay. Yeah, the base price of these with zero options is 60 grand. Realistically, most of them are probably gonna be about 75 grand, which admittedly, that's still cheap. So this car, as spec'd out, this has the 2LT package. It also has the Z51 package. And I think it was spec'd out about 75 grand. So it's probably right in the ballpark of what most of these C8s are actually gonna cost. 495 horsepower, 470 foot-pounds of torque. Pretty solid numbers there. But what's crazy is this thing has really good 0 to 60 in quarter mile times, and a lot of that obviously is because we finally have the engine in the proper spot. It's a mid-engine car, thank God, and so it's transferring all that weight correctly. GM actually bought Ferrari 458 when those came out 10 years ago and used it as a reference for building this. In fact, we had these two in the garage last night, my 458 and this car, and they are almost exactly the same length. The wheelbase is basically the exact same. This car is about 2 inches longer. I really think they did a good job on the front of the car. The front looks amazing. It's aggressive enough. It's got a good splitter, good front diffuser, cool lines. I just think it looks really clean and good. Big ass air scoops on the side, which I actually really dig that. I think that sort of stuff is really cool when you have the big engines. Reasonable size spoiler, so it's not over the top. I think this car without a spoiler actually would look a little bit too boring. I think it looks good with this spoiler. I know they have a bigger spoiler. That one looks pretty good too. Taillights are a little bit too Camaro-y. Wheels are awesome. Good sized wheels and tires. America. Yeah, that is where you need to go if you want to see him talking about my car. So we do have a frunk, and apparently there is a hidden switch. Where is it? Somewhere down here.
Going to the right.
Oh, there is. There's a magic button. Oh, look at that. Ooh. Now, one thing that I actually have to say, when I saw the frunk on this, that is actually a smaller frunk than the 458. It's about the same height. It's actually a little bit smaller, but don't forget we do have a second trunk. So we have a frunk and a trunk. And then for all those people who are like, oh, the frunks are flying open. Well, so he was showing me, here's how you properly do this. You set it down, push it down once, push it down twice. There you go. User error is why the frunks were flying open. All right, we've got another hidden button right there. Okay, here we go. That, I have to say, is actually kind of cool that you have a even bigger trunk space in the rear. And speaking of the engine, there is that LT2. So we have some serious America horsepower right there. And it's interesting because they even had the headers go up like they do with Ferraris, eerily similar to how the 458 is set up, where you've got the headers coming up immediately into the catalytic converters right there. You know, that's the thing about these Chevy engines is this thing's been around, the design's been around forever. It's a bulletproof motor. You can beat the crap out of it and they just don't break. We also have the magnetic suspension, which is really nice. And don't forget, that roof actually pops off and fits in here. Yeah, it's kind of like magic. I don't know how they got that engineered. Kudos to the engineers that said, we want to be able to remove the roof and we want to be able to store it somewhere in a mid-engine car, and they actually made it happen. Damn, that's some seriously engineering, like, good job. And in true cool car fashion, we have like little hidden door handles right there in the air scoops. And I will say, good job, Mike. The color spec on this. So this is actually a white car. This is the factory color right there. You can see it's a little slightly bit different than the white on the wrap, the red interior, which actually looks really, really nice. Immediately, I will say, they used pretty reasonable materials, okay? That's my biggest complaint with like the C7 that I had, is the materials are just kind of, These feel much, much nicer. Like the leather actually feels really, really good. The square steering wheel, which is again, kind of controversial, and I actually hated it until I actually sat in this car yesterday and I said, oh, okay, it actually is not that bad.
But you have to call it what it is.
What?
Squircle.
It's a squircle? It's a squircle? Yeah. All right, we've got the squircle steering wheel. Corvette always has kind of like the airplane cockpit feel, and Mike was telling me that this was designed to kind of mimic the cockpit of the F-35 or F-22? F-22. So this one does have kind of the cockpit feel. We have this big center console in a mid-engine car. To me, one of the cool things about mid-engine cars is you can have this space be open. In the pictures, I hated it, and even the first few times I saw it, I hated it, and then when you sit down, it actually doesn't seem that bad. I think it's because this is at a very low height right here, so your arm rests at a reasonable height, and then the buttons kind of are like right there at your fingertips, so it's not as bad as I was thinking. I still think stylistically, it's not what I prefer. I don't really like it, but I think it's not as bad as I thought. We've got like AC controls up here and AC controls down here, and a little arrow that says, you know, passenger, driver. I mean, it's a lot of buttons. That's gonna be hard to kind of memorize where everything is. If you're like, oh, I want to change the whatever. It's got a lot of modern features. They got to throw the button somewhere. We do have flappy pedals, and it is real metal, no plastic, thank God. The buttons don't feel bad, you know, like a lot of the traditional GM stuff has a very plasticky kind of, it feels like a truck in a sports car feel. These are all pretty solid. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit plasticky, but it's not bad. It's got a good feel to it. Dashboard is, again, really decent material. Not bad. We have, oh yeah, that's actually really cool. You got a good view of the engine back here. I have to say, this is the spot where I thought for sure I was gonna hate the car, and I don't hate it. So that's a good sign. We'll see what it's like when we're driving. All right, let's fire this sucker up. America! Losing some points. Got pedals on the wheel.
Oh yeah, they're on the wheel.
Not on the column.
Yep.
Ooh, the shifts are quick.
Oh, they're super fast, man.
It's weird. It like makes a. It reminds me of a Porsche. When the Porsche PDK shift, it almost like stutters the engine because it's so fast. It goes, yep. This is like making that sound. Yeah, you should pay attention to driving instead of talking. Oh God, it's already in 2, 3. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Auto is like, we want fuel economy.
Exactly.
oh, yep, there it goes. 4. So this is 8-speed dual clutch transmission in this car. We're already in 6th gear, and I haven't even gotten to the speed limit. Yep. Okay, we're at the speed limit, 7th gear and 8th gear. So we're cruising. Let's get up to 60. We're at 1,200 500 RPMs in eighth gear at 60 miles an hour. 25 miles per gallon. Oh, we can ruin that. It's actually a camera. So you can have it be an actual mirror, you can have it be a camera, and the camera's kind of mounted up on the roof, pointing out the back, which on these rear engine cars or mid-engine cars, it's actually a really good idea. You know, it really kind of gives it a better perspective and lets you see like really what's going on, because there's no such thing as a good view out the back of these cars. Like they don't have it.
Right.
Now we get some fun roads. Oh, I'm gonna like this. I'm enjoying this already. The handling is really good. It's pretty precise. I'm gonna say marginally vaguer than the 458. I feel like the 458 is a little bit more accurate. When I point it, it's immediately it's really responsive. This is like if the 458 is like 100, this is a 96. You know, it's like right there. There's no one in front of us, so we can actually have some fun. All right, here we go. Whoa! All right, so just like the C7, it's got a really long pedal throw.
Oh yeah, you gotta press it.
Like I almost have to move my body to push the pedal, but whoa, when you give it that last quarter of the throttle, it really opens up and whoo,
Yeah.
she comes alive. I was thinking it was gonna be like a very torquey feeling, like the C7, where it like kind of like feels like a sledgehammer, and it's smoother. It feels more refined. I don't feel like it's immediately trying to kill you, and maybe it's because it's gripping better. That could be it. Oh yeah, this is why we drive this road right here.
So, you want to try track mode?
Sure. All right. How do I change the mode? This
Just
thing,
turn
right?
it to the right one time.
Did it change?
Yep.
Oh, there it goes. Ooh. Now we got a different dash. It shows the gear really prominently in the tachometer. Okay.
You have the most aggressive shifting too now.
Oh, I could, yeah.
And brakes.
Downshift was a little. I'm having no fun, just so you know. I mean, this is a miserable car. No one should buy it. Holy shit. So the little bars on the heads-up display, is that a shift light?
It is.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
All right, I haven't gotten way up in the RPMs.
Yep.
Or
It's a shift light.
Let's see. I'm trying to be nice. I hate being too hard on someone else's car, you know?
You're fine, man. You know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, there it goes. Oh yeah, there. Full disclosure, it's getting my heart going. This is good. The whole argument, right? The argument everyone cares about with the C8. Bang for your buck. And
Right.
yeah, this is one hell of a car for $75,000. The balance is perfect. They got it right. This feels like an American Ferrari. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Very similar handling characteristics as a 458. The body positioning, the weight transfer, you can feel it coming onto the rear tires, just like the 458. The braking, you can feel it transferring the weight just the same. It just has the only difference is just the way the power comes on is a little bit different feeling.
Sure.
It's more torquey, a little bit less horsepower, and you don't have the revs. So like it's not as fast, like revving, you know. So the 458, your first few gears, you're shifting, and
Sure.
this one it winds out a little bit further. But wow, the handling is just excellent. This is
Yeah.
wow. I'm really impressed with the handling. I want a 458, but I can't afford it. Well, here you go. This is this is about as good as it gets. Good job, GM.
Push your foot on the brake all the way as hard as you can,
Yep.
and then mash the gas.
And then release the brake.
Yep.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Launch control. Here we go. That's fun. Oh,
And
3.1
yeah.
on the street on a crappy. This is not like great material street. Get back into one. Oh, that's fun.
Yep.
It's a weird sensation because it feels so similar to the 458 in the handling characteristics, but then the engine behavior is very American.
Yeah,
Like it's weird having the mid-engine American car. I'm so used to Ferrari that I'm like having a hard time with adjusting to it, but it's not bad. It's just I'm not used to it. I have to like kind of recalibrate how I expect the car to behave, how I expect the engine to behave, how I expect it to drive, all those sorts of things.
Right. Turn the knob to the left once.
Left.
Yep.
Okay.
Now you're in
mode.
tour mode.
So now we're in squishy mode.
So now you're gonna feel how
Alrighty.
smooth this thing gets.
Yeah, let's purposely hit some of these bumps.
Yeah, it's.
Oh, you don't even feel it.
Yeah, it's.
It's got all the latest technology, right? My 458's 10 years old. It's technology kind of inept. Cameras and computer shit going on and buttons everywhere and stuff. So this is a fully modern, like very digital car. Yeah, there's a lot of buttons here, but I could kind of ignore it because it's just like your AC and stuff. So like you push the AC, you get comfortable, and then ignore the center. I haven't even touched the media because we don't care, because
Yeah.
we're having fun.
Yeah.
So no one cares about like the stereo. I'm sure it's great. You know, it's got Bose speakers. I saw that inside.
14 of them.
14 speakers. We're gonna change it back from squishy mode to reasonably sporty mode. Yeah, squishy was good for like if you're gonna go on a road trip. Excellent. You can do it all, right? You can drive comfortably. You can get good gas mileage, and then when you want to play, you can play. All of this for 75 grand. This is half the price of what I paid for my 458. Half. I paid a little over 150. This is half. And it's within degrees, like imperceptibly different degrees as good. Okay, Corvette people, fine. You get your one hooray, good for you. It's pretty much as good a car. The thing that it doesn't have, that you're not going to get, intangible, that comes with the Ferrari thing, which is like the Ferrari ownership experience, is just different. That's it. There's something about when you pull up in a Ferrari, it's a commotion, you know, it's got this emotion about it. I'm not feeling as in love with this as I am with my Ferrari, but I'm not disappointed in any way. And is that emotional attachment worth twice the cost? That's something that you are going to have to determine yourself. I personally think it's worth it. I'm going to say most people are not going to say it's worth it. I think it's one of those that you have to experience to say whether or not it's actually worth it. So you can't say that this is truly in every way better than the Ferrari until you've driven both and arguably owned both. But it's good. It's just good. Really solid across the board. Everything is good. Will I own one of these at some point in the future? There is a high probability that once these are more common and they start coming down to reasonable, cheap numbers on the used market, you're going to be able to pick up just insane deals. You know, like imagine when this thing is worth $35,000 in 5-6 years. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I would buy this without even blinking an eye.
Right.
The only, I guess, negative really that I can think of is that GM is pumping these suckers out, which is good and bad, right? It's good for GM. It's good for the American economy. It's good that, you know, they built this good a car. Kind of sucks if you're trying to be like having this exclusivity, right? So you've got it right now because they're hard to get a hold of. In a year or 2 or 3, once they've pumped out over 100,000 of these things, you're going to see them all over the place.
Yep.
And that's fine. That's good because it's a great car, but it's going to lose some of that exclusivity and you know, uniqueness. But then you throw a Captain America wrap on it, and well, you know,
Yeah,
it's unique.
It's one of a
again.
kind.
Yeah, they made more of these already than in total 458s.
Right.
In the 5-year run.
Right.
I already in Austin see these every week, and they've only been in production for less than a year. So give it 5 years from now, you're going to see them all over the place. Right now, when people see the C8, they're like, holy crap, it's the C8.
Yep.
And that's cool, and it's going to lose some of that. Those intangibles are the difference in cost.
Right.
There is, as far as the performance, zero reason to like if you're purely caring about performance, no reason to buy the Ferrari over this, because their performance is almost identical. This is an amazing car. It really is. Once you've driven a mid-engine car, you're like, oh, this is how cars should be. When you switch to mid-engine, you're like, oh my gosh, like it changes your, you're like, mind blown.
Yep.
Oh my god, this is how cars are supposed to behave. You get that balance that you did not get before.
When the car pivots around your hips,
yes,
it's a totally
like
different feeling.
You are the center point of gravity in the car, and you can feel it in your butt.
Yep.
So when you try and drive it hard, that's when you start to really feel all the difference.
Right.
Yes, just getting some good old Shell V-Power Nitro Plus. Only the best. Ooh, that's the kind of crap I wish I had. Look at that. It's got like cameras everywhere so you can actually see and not damage this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, let's be real, these mid-engine cars don't have the world's greatest visibility when parking.
Right.
Well, I think it's safe to say that I was thoroughly disappointed, and these are garbage. Do not buy one. Do not waste your money. Okay, I'm lying. Yeah, it's really good. Pretty difficult to justify the difference between this and that. There are some things that the Ferrari's going to get you that this doesn't. There's some things that this is going to give you that the Ferrari doesn't, like better technology. I mean, frankly, the technology in this is just dramatically more superior, you know, cameras and all sorts of crap. Now granted, you can get all of that in a Ferrari, but you're talking about buying a new 488 or an F8, and then you're talking like $300,000 plus. So now you're not in the 2 times more expensive, you're in the 4 or 5 or 6 times more expensive category. That becomes difficult to swallow. And then again, if you get an F8, it's really fast. So maybe when the new versions of this come out with the Z06 and the new Zora, the ZR1, probably going to be in the same kind of caliber as the F8 is my guess. That's going to be really interesting. Huge thanks to Mike. Mike.
Absolutely, man.
Seriously, I've been waiting and waiting. This was the car I specifically wanted to drive yours because of America. I didn't want to drive a regular C8 because, you know, I'm above that. So.
Exactly. You had to have the America.
So thank you again. Go visit his YouTube channel right here, Brink of Speed. It's a link below. He's tagged in all that stuff. Go check out his YouTube channel. Great stuff, especially if you're a Corvette fan. I'll give you a hint. His channel's about Corvettes. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. We've got a ton of car stuff coming your way. You're going to want to stay tuned. It's going to be sweet.